Now to some more political stories. A crisis is brewing in the Social Democratic Party after a faction suspended the party's national chairman Olu Aguloye and secretary Shehu Gabam for alleged misconduct. Well, at its National Executive Committee meeting held in Abuja on Saturday, the faction unanimously appointed the party's deputy chairman, Abdul Mohammed Isiaq, as Aguloye's replacement and Simon Adesina as interim national secretary pending the outcome of its factional convention slated for April 27th to the 29th of 2022. The Isiaq-led NEC said it observed the wanton disregard to some provisions of the SDP constitution and decided to suspend the national chairman and secretary of the party. He promised to reposition the party ahead of next year's general elections.
The elsewhere national secretary of the Social Democratic Party, by the strength and the powers of the National Executive Committee, this minute, this day, stand suspended. A vacuum has been created by the suspension. There is a space, a vacuum in the office of the national chairman. There is a space and vacuum in the office of the national secretary. We are not taking anybody out. Even those people who have suspended, when they repent, we still bring them back. We are not taking anybody back. We are going to be having an all-encompassing, all-participatory approach to whatever we are doing. The problem we have is that so many things are shrouded in mystery. But now you are going to see an open and very transparent engagement.
Is it also the decision of this NEC in session today that
Chief Engineer
Simon
Adesina,
correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Be saddled with the responsibility of assuming office as the National Secretary of the SDP, pending between now and the time the party holds a convention, sometimes in April. Is this so, Khalid?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, and for more insight into the ongoing conflicts in the SDP, let's bring in one of those in the eye of the storm, Shehu Gabam. He's the INEC recognized national secretary of the Social Democratic Party who denied the allegations and says that Abdul Mohammed Isiaq was previously suspended by the SDP hierarchy. Well, thank you, Mr. Gabam, for joining me tonight on the program. But you know what, going by the words of Abdul Isiaq, he says there is a vacuum in the SDP. What really is happening at your party?
Well, if there is a vacuum, he is not the one to say it. There will be announcement, and some people must have left or must have resigned their position. Number two, you cannot conduct NEC meeting without official letter to INEC, which said that you have to give 21 days notice. There was no such letter to INEC emanating from the statutory signatures of the chairman and the secretary of the party. As I'm talking to you, INEC officially communicate with us and no any other person. Number two, the same Abdul Mohammed Isiaq, we appointed him as the acting chairman of the party when Professor Adeniran resigned. And then the INEC wrote to us and said we breach our own constitution because the deputy national chairman ought to have come from the south where the chairman resigned. So based on those letters, which is here, INEC wrote to us that we must comply with our rules. We replied INEC, we agreed, we erred in our judgment. This is the letter from INEC.
Okay.
You know, saying that we must obey our own rules. And then we obey those rules by replacing him with the deputy national chairman south. He is the deputy national chairman north. That is what, so from there on, he picked the anger and then undermining and sabotaging the party. So many things went wrong. And because of his anti-party activities, we had a meeting of NWC and he was suspended. This letter was taken to INEC on the 17th of January and INEC acknowledged it. You can see it here. It was acknowledged. And then we wrote to the Inspector General of Police, DGSSS, all the copies of his suspension.
Okay, so
is also here.
Going by what you're claiming now
Yes.
is that
It's not claiming,
Mr.
it's fact.
Abdul is actually suspended. But today
Since.
he had a meeting, which he says is the NEC meeting, and suspended you as the secretary as well as the chairman of your party. Obviously, there's an internal rift within the SDP. What are you doing to really find some sort of solution in-house so that way we're not having this kind of scenario that played out today?
Well, if you look at the video, I believe you don't know the members of the SDP. There is no SDP member there. Even the guy that was making the announcement is not an SDP member, is an NGO worker. If you walk throughout, there is only one NWC member, which is Engineer Additional. Engineer Additional, as I'm talking to you, has been suspended by his ward from Ibadan. And we've been keeping it, we have not acted on it. He was suspended from his ward. And if you go and take the stock of all that are there is no SDP state working member of National Working Committee. There is no state chairman who constitute NEC. They are the ones that constitute NEC. The records are there. So, you know, we entered an era of political vultures who seized the opportunity to disrupt the party. And I'm happy. And I'm happy. INEC of today is not taking such things lightly. INEC do not tolerate such things. If you violate the process, INEC will draw the attention of the parties and ask them they must comply with their own rules. In complying with our own rules, he get offended. We brought him through not complying with the rules. INEC wrote to us and we comply with the rules.
So you erred in the first place. You erred in the first place. But you tried to fix it, and that's why there's this grievance.
We tried to fix it,
but
that was the problem.
The issue with the SDP goes beyond even what we have seen today, because I can remember just barely 12 days to the polls in Anambra State, the state chairman and secretary of your party in that state were suspended as well, which some would argue and say that's probably the reason why you had a poor outing in Anambra State. But it seemed like you've not learned your issues. What happened to your internal party mechanisms to resolve internal conflict? Why is it not working, or why are you not using it in this situation?
I'm happy that today you read the news where other parties have issues, APC, PDP, the PDP is still in the Supreme Court. APC have more than 20 court cases going on. It's not just peculiar to SDP.
Oh, absolutely. But the conversation we're having now is about your party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the time of elections, party grows through these challenges because of elements that are being used to destabilize the party. And if party is not strong enough to take decisive action, the party is bound to go down. And therefore, if you could remember, in the last general election, we faced the same challenges up to the Supreme Court, but we succeeded. So it happens to all the parties, particularly parties that are not briefcase parties, are operational parties. You have vultures that are on standby. Once the space is open, they take advantage of the situation, and then they try to create problem where there's no problem. This man that you are still talking about, he has no office in Kaduna. He has been the deputy national chairman for 13 years. SDP have no office in Kaduna. It takes the gubernatorial candidate of the party in the state to open office in Kaduna. This same man that you are seeing have been 13 years in IPACT. He have never remitted one kobo due to SDP account. This new leadership of IPACT, immediately they came in, they remitted what is due for SDP. We never knew that SDP normally have something. We sent him to represent the party in IPACT. He have never remitted all the assignment, everything has gotten from there. Too many things. He was actually suspended from his ward, from Kaduna State.
Okay.
Suspended from his ward. This same man that you are talking about.
So as it stands right now, you have your allegations. He has his own allegations. Although looking at the fact that you are part of the INEC recognized, SDP, you are still the national secretary.
Absolutely.
But what is the way forward, especially as we look forward to your
is
convention, which is still upcoming?
We sent him a query of up to 7 and up to A and F. He have never responded. This is the second one we sent to him. This is the second one. This same man went and sent 100,000 to the chairman's account, trying to induce them. It is a record. This same man went and forged NEC letter without him owning to it either his name or his signature. This same man uses his phone to send this so-called NEC forged letter to some members to attend. And this same man sent transport to some of the chairmen all throughout the state to come for this meeting. They refused to come. The records are there.
Okay.
The records are there.
So what you're saying right now, there's no crisis in the SDP.
Absolutely.
You just
see,
have someone
when
who
you
is trying
have
to foment trouble.
when you are 80% stable, yes, 20% is bound to be ups and downs of the party, but the party is stable. We have no crisis at the top leadership of the party. At the state level, we have no crisis. The chairman forum of the party issued a statement unanimously endorsing remaining loyal to the executive of the party.
So what if he continues portraying himself as still the chairman of your party?
He
So what
can
happens
do- he
next?
can
What
do
other
that.
options are available to
see,
you now,
I
moving
was
forward?
a founder of PDP. I know what faction is. He can only do it before he was being suspended. Any other thing, that he is doing now, he should know the consequences. Number two, a deputy national chairman have no function in the constitution of both parties, have no function unless what is assigned to him by the chairman or NWC. This man have no function in his office unless what the chairman assigned to him. He is deputizing for the chairman. There are two deputies. He is deputizing for the chairman. If the chairman have not assigned him to do anything, or NWC, there's nothing he can do about it. So you have to understand his function, where he is coming from, his empty background. So he's bound to, because fundamentally, there was an IPAC election. He wanted to contest with the chairman of the party.
Okay.
The chairman of the party defeated him. He lost that ground on IPAC. So that is why he's launching this fight.
So what you're telling us, Shehu Gabam, is the fact that the SDP, there's peace, there's no crisis, and there's no factions.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much.
We are not ruling anything out because we are in the political era.
Of course, 2023 is around the corner, but it's good we actually heard from you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.